Mr. Sam Marsiglia, Bossier Parish MPC. Hey, Mr. Sam, welcome to Kiel. How you doing this morning?
Just fine.
So update us. Just clarify for everybody, first of all, what's the deal?
You hate food trucks.
Come on.
Apparently that's what we've heard.
I'm sure you've heard that a lot over the past. Sure, you've heard that a lot over the past few days. Clarify for everybody what the MPC has done, what they've recommended, what the rules are, at least temporarily.
Okay, about 10 months ago, we were starting to become inundated with requests for food trucks, food trailers, food vendors of various types to be able. They wanted to go set up in parking lots throughout the cities, vacant lots, and operate 365 days a year.
In other words, basically, they just wanted to be a restaurant with wheels that never moved.
Correct. And we saw that could be a problem. We have areas that we, have created for food trucks, for like down in the East Bank district, and we encourage them to operate, and move around. Go to, a lot of neighborhoods in Bossier have food truck nights now. It's very popular, and that's not part of our moratorium. They're allowed to rove around, and if they want to go to a plant or a construction site and sell lunch to the workers there, that's fine. What we did, we placed a moratorium on this wanting long-term parking, on a vacant commercial lot or a parking lot out in front of businesses, till we figure out, do we want to allow that and for what length of time we want to allow that. And we're 10 months into a moratorium on that, and we're very close to having a draft ordinance that we can present to our city officials and the board members and get their thoughts on it, and then we'll go public and see what we want to do.
Sam, why is it taking so long?
We do these ordinances in-house. We don't pay consultants to do them. That's quite expensive. And when you do these ordinances in-house, it's done with your current staff, and we have daily work that has to be done. So the in-house ordinances, they're done as we can get to them, and they typically take about a year and a half or 2 years to complete.
The point
because you're hearing that Shreveport made these changes pretty quickly, and what's the difference in Bossier? Did Shreveport use consultants?
I don't have a very big staff, and we're very busy.
Okay, are you going to mirror yours after what's kind of happening in Shreveport?
My planner has talked to them to see what they do, but mirror it, I don't know. We may try to do part of it, but we're going to do what we feel is right by the citizens of Bossier and the Bossier elected officials, what they want us to do.
The point Aaron and I had made, I know Aaron had made this point on the radio a couple of days ago pertaining to these food trucks, is specifically, and you had mentioned the East Bank area, the new East Bank area. If you're L'Italiano or Flying Heart or Bojack's, do you really want a food truck setting up, or 20 food trucks setting up every Saturday night in the parking lot right behind you, right?
Probably not. So that's why we're kind of looking at these things as a limited type basis.
When a food truck sets up in a parking lot like that of a store, or a public parking lot, like in East Bank for that matter, do they pay somebody the rent? I mean, is this one of the questions that needs to be answered? One of the problems to solve is who gets paid, whose permission do they get, how long they can stay as part of the whole thing.
Well, over in the East Bank district, that was part of the whole process that the city created an area for them to be there, and they do pay their sales taxes and such, and whatever fees are required by the city. The MPC office does not govern that East Bank district as far as food trucks and all that go. But, your point was correct. You've got people invested a lot of money in a brick-and-mortar building, have pay a lot of taxes, a lot of property taxes, and do you want to allow food trucks just to set up like a mobile restaurant 365 days a year near them? I don't think that's fair to the brick-and-mortar buildings, but we also want to be fair for the food vendors and all that, and do this on some type of limited basis. Just at this point, I don't have a answer for you as for what we're talking about as a limited basis.
Some are saying this is just another big government move, that you guys are going to slap more fees on these people and try to collect more money from them. Can you respond to that, Sam?
I'm not aware of any fees we're going to slap on them other than what we do for every business. To set up There's seasonal products that are traditional: snow cones, fireworks, Christmas trees. Those are allowed to set up as they do on a seasonal basis. We actually have, the days they can operate during the year, and they are required, like any permanent business, to get a certificate of occupancy from the city. They have to provide proof to the MPC office in the city that they have permission from the property owner to be on that lot. Sometimes it's a vacant lot. There's not a building on there. So we have to have them provide us a lease or a notarized letter of permission from the property owner that they can sit there. They have to have all their occupational licenses and approvals from the health department if they happen to serve food and then they can operate there for a certain amount of time.
Now
Food trucks, we had no regulations like that set up. So
now we're getting into
it
something else, and I don't know if this is under your aegis or not, but you mentioned health certificates, etc. What kind of inspections? Because basically you're still a restaurant, right? If you're a food truck, what kind of health inspections are required now, and will those change?
Before we issue any food vendor a certificate of occupancy to operate temporarily on a site, such as a crawfish stand, they have to go to the Bossier Parish Health Department and receive their health certificate and their inspections from the health department. Once we have that, that's part of our certificate of occupancy inspection process.
How many food trucks do you have registered in Bossier now? How many do you think are out there? Obviously, Shreveport did a search. Have you guys done the same thing?
My planner that's working on the ordinance may have that information. Off the top of my head, I really don't know. I know it's become very popular in the last couple of years. I enjoy them very much. I eat at them whenever I travel out of town to a big city. I enjoy them very much. We're very concerned if you want to, set up on a vacant lot for 365 days a year without building a parking lot, without building a building, without paying proper property taxes, as the brick and mortar restaurants do.
One last question, Sam. We've got to wrap up in about 30 seconds or so.
Sure.
How soon do you hope to have this done, and so that food trucks can get back to Bossier?
Well, they can operate here now under just limited circumstances, but I believe that ordinance is about 90% complete of what my planner was telling me just this week when all this hit Facebook.
So timetable-wise?
Maybe by the end of the year, we'll
Okay.
have something good in place.